committee volunteers would co-sponsor this with these folks. So it's just up to the council to decide whether they want it to go, the Parks Committee to co-sponsor it, and the use of facilities due to our co-sponsorship or not.
You know, we have two different bits of information here. One is a request to participate as a sponsor, but down here it says that as sponsor host of the event, the organizers have offered to donate 25% of the net proceeds. So are we sponsors? Aren't we sponsors? Is this information valid? You know, I would just like to know.
Mark, please.
No.
You're not.
No.
But you're not. Can I
We are-
explain
the
what
council
you're
is-
not going to be
the
in compliance
council
with the
is-
IRS?
The council is discussing this at this point.
There's no reason this is.
Well, the compliance issue for the IRS would be with the organization. And that's what I've been getting to with the whole movies in the park, and I think that's why all these fall under the same umbrella. It falls with the organization making the donation to the town. The town's getting the money, it's a donation. You know, any money the town gets from an individual or an organization is a donation,
Well,
if it's not for services.
Leave the town out of it and let them donate the whole thing to Camp Carefree.
That's a possibility, but the Spark wanted to receive money for future Parks and Rec programs. But the IRS dilemma falls with the organization, because just like whether it's Movies in the Park or anybody else, if they're for-profit, they can be for-profit or they can be non-profit putting on an event. It doesn't matter to us because we're not involved in the money. If we're outside of the money, it doesn't matter to us whether they keep it, they donate it, or what they do with it, just as long as they've made their stipulations to the people they're getting the money from and that they comply with the IRS. And all the IRS compliance is on their part, not ours.
So being a sponsor, putting us outside the money, if it says here we're a sponsor?
You can be a sponsor and donate just the location. You can be a sponsor, you can buy a t-shirt, buy a t-shirt to be a sponsor. Just because you're a sponsor means that you're trying to work towards getting something together. It's like if this is a community event and we're trying to do it in Summerfield, if you want Summerfield to not be involved in it, it's very confusing to me. When we were talking earlier about you're telling the people in our committees that you want them to go out and raise funds to do stuff, and now you're saying don't do it.
No, I'm saying the way it's being done is confusing to me. We're either a sponsor or we're not. They're either the host sponsor or they're not.
I think we need to pick a word and use it from this point forward, was my
because it's
point.
on our property, so we're the
Yeah.
host. We're a sponsor, we want to be a sponsor, so that our name is associated with the event. So it's a 5K fun run, Summerfield 5K fun run, sponsored by Northwest Observer, Gestalt Studios, whoever else they get, and one of the sponsors is Town of Summerfield. Just like in other organizations and other areas, Parks and Rec have joint sponsorship programs. It's to get the name out there that says the Town of Summerfield is trying to do something recreational based for the public. And the part that we're doing is providing the location and members of a committee that are going to basically donate this time. That's the whole package.
But that still makes it the town doing fundraising, and we don't have a fundraising policy.
So what
in place,
if they didn't donate the money to us? What if we were not? What if the money did not come to the town?
It's still raising money for some organization, you know.
They're
It's still a fundraiser.
They're fundraising and donating to us. So they're fundraising, we're not fundraising, we're not involved in fundraising.
You can't say we're not involved in fundraising when we're one of the sponsors.
Well, that's where it's a matter of coming up with a term, and that was kind of the point of my emails going back and forth. Coming up with a term that the council agrees upon for events like this. You know, what is the correct term? Whether it's partnership, you know, Spark uses partnership. Is it partnership? Is it sponsor? Is it host? Or is there a better word? I prefer a word completely different. That's if somebody could come up with one. But agreeing on a word and then using it for the future, so that we are all consistent in what we agree is going to be our participation participation.
Why can't we just say the town donates the facilities for this event? And that puts
That's
us
fine,
in, that
and
puts us in
they've also-
there, that puts the event private. They do the rental form, we waive all the fees, so therefore we donate to them.
And you can do that, you know, if you don't want to be designated a sponsor or a host, you can say, you know, with the town of Summerfield offering the facilities, and leave it at that.
I mean, that's a big deal. When you offer facilities for somebody for free, that's a tremendous donation.
And you can do that, and then they've said that if your volunteers volunteer for them, that they'll give a donation. So, I figured everybody was getting hung up on the terms, and that was my point with this.
I'm hung up because the cart's coming before the horse. We don't have the general fundraising policy.
So what do we do, lay down and do nothing?
No, you do this separately, law.
Do it right.
Do it right.
Mr. Mayor, I'm trying to make you aware that two members of the audience who have raised their hands, Ms. Dunn and Mr. Crawford.
I realize that.
Okay.
I have something really constructive to offer.
I was just trying to streamline it so they have their hands raised.
Yeah, council is still discussing this. Go for that.
Well, we obviously are not going to agree on this. And it's certainly, I have nothing against this. I think it's a great thing. My problem is with the process. My problem has always been with the process. And I can say, do what you think, but my problem has always been with the process. First and foremost.
And I just want to say, I'll take full blame for the policy not being before you tonight because I decided I wanted a vacation because I hadn't had a day off since January. So I will take full and complete blame. I went on vacation. You do not have a policy in front of you. I just want to let you know that. The town manager and the attorney don't have to get any blame. I went on vacation.
We don't have concern with that. All right, let's hear from our people in the audience, and then we'll deal with this. So we have
I
one
have some
minute.
experience with nonprofits.
Okay.
They're confusing being a corporate sponsor with a government agency sponsoring something. If you are a sponsor, you need to be extremely careful. Right now, there's a lot of questions as to what you told people were tax deductible donations, if they truly were. It's been.
We're not dealing with that here.
But what you're dealing with here is being a sponsor. If you're a sponsor and the expenses are far more than you receive, then it's not tax deductible. The IRS has a threshold for these things where people can't just have a very expensive party and then not receive so much in donations. And you're investing a lot already with staff time. I think what's important is that the town is not the sponsor. You're also incurring liability. You're assuming liability for some bookkeeping that may not, in the end, it may benefit the fund-running people, the author-running people, but not benefit. And you don't want to start out with your first fundraiser to be not in compliance with the IRS.
Let me clarify here that the entrance fees will not be advertised to the participants as donations, as far as I'm concerned, because they're not donations. They're going to be entrance fees. So there will not be any communication that it's a donation on their part. The leftover, the net proceeds are being donated, but this is not, donations from the participants. Let's clarify that. Everybody understand what I'm saying
You
here?
have something to say?
First question, I may have something to say. Did I hear correctly that this is not being looked at this town as a fundraising event by the town? Did I hear that correctly?
It
Yes.
is, in my opinion, and Dana's opinion, that it's not a fundraiser by the town because staff, committee, council are not doing the fundraising.
But you've already expended staff time on this.
If there is a agreement, whether written or not, that there will be compensation, trade of time for money, you've made it a fundraiser. I don't see how you wiggle around that. There is compensation taking place. We agreed to donate if you agree to volunteer. That's compensation. That is a fundraiser.
Okay, Terry.
I don't understand as far as I know Oak Ridge did their park opening and they had 3 sponsors when they did their park.